Hello, NWF Forward fans. I am your main host tonight, the Canary Kid, and I am accompanied by this schmuck, Crusher Crossing. But I have more important things to talk about than Schmucker Crossing today, because you know what? Over Christmas, the Canary Kid actually picked up quite an interesting hobby, and I think you'll all be interested in it. Um, I've decided to show you all. So I've actually became a major dart enthusiast. Um, as you can see, really good shot there on the head of some schmuck. But yeah, I feel like I was really bad at the start, but when I put up a really bad t-shirt, things just really start working out for me. I don't know. It's like magic. I don't know. It's like Happy Gilmore. It's just clicked. But anyway, yes, here's the schmuck. I'm going to give him a chance to speak. So, because I already know he's itching because he can't shut up for 5 minutes. So go ahead.
The moral of the story there is Canary's got a Crusher Crossing shirt because he's a Crusher Crossing wannabe. Now, I was thinking about this, Canary. This whole business of you saying I'm too old and I'm a 75-year-old man and this, that, and everything else. I was thinking, here's what the reality is, everybody, and NWF fans know this. Canary wakes up every morning and he looks himself in the mirror and he says to himself, do I have what it takes to beat the 5-time champ? And you know something, Canary? When you look in your own eyes in that mirror, you start shaking your head with the lack of confidence that you have, and you say, no, I can't. And so to save face, you come up with all these excuses as to why you can't get in the ring with me, because you don't want to face your own fans when you fail miserably. So that's the reality of it. Lack of confidence.
You know, it's really funny, Crusher, that you assume that on the build up to the return of the greatest tag team in Northern Irish wrestling history, that I would even take 2 seconds of my day to think about the biggest schmuck that ever seen the face of the earth, and that is the 5-time Schmuckerweight champion, Schmucker Crossing, the ultimate schmuck. But you know, there's a topic I want to bring up here today before we bring in our guest singular, yes. And I know a lot of people have seen the posts on social media, and I know you've all heard Crusher get so excited. Badass Ben Nelson's coming back. It's the second time in a row. Oh, badass Ben Nelson. He doesn't back away from a challenge. He doesn't run. He always stays here. He doesn't run away. Badass Ben Nelson is exactly what I said he is. An absolute card. He doesn't want to show his face here after I embarrassed him last time. And you know what? It's for the best. Now we don't have the ugliest haircut in wrestling, but instead we have both halves of the greatest tag team in Northern Irish wrestling history, and that is next level. So we have John McCann here today, which, hold your applause, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's amazing. I know you're so happy that Ben Nelson's not here, but John McCann is here instead. So we have bigger and better things tonight.
Yeah, well, you were right on one thing. We have one half of the best tag team in wrestling here. John, what I like to call John the Man McCann. And you know why? As you like to say? Because he's like Ben, is not afraid to get in the ring with me, unlike you. So that's the reality of it. He carries the damn team, as far as I'm concerned. And you know something? Until you face the OG CRUSH, you have nothing to say. Now let's not go back and forth. You and I can do this all night long, but we need to get in our guest, our special guest. And you're right, Ben can't make it. Ben's a busy guy. He's training to be the best wrestler in Northern Ireland professional wrestling history.
And
he's very busy.
You know why he's doing that? Because he's not there yet. Want to know why? Because I'm there. I am the greatest wrestler in Northern Irish wrestling history. Ben aspires to be like me. You aspire to be like me. You look back in your career and you go, damn, I did well. And then you look at the Canary Kid and you go, damn, I was awful. Because you realize what true talent is, schmuck. So how about you quit your yapping and we get my hero, John McCann, in this live stream?
Yes, quit your yapping is the right word. And let's get in John McCann. And by the way, Canary, I hear some feedback. I don't know if it's coming from, who is it coming from? But I don't think it's you, because all your audio is coming through your headset, right? It might be John. But we'll find out when we get him in here. If his volume's too loud on his speakers or something, could be causing it. Let's see what happens. Do you hear it too, Canary? Like some kind of feedback?
Little smudges of things, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll find out. So let's get our guest in. Ben's busy training. He's got a big match tomorrow, for the title, if I do recall. So he's busy training. Can't make it with us, but we do have John McCann.
Even
So
better.
let's get him in here. Here he is, folks. All the way from Northern Ireland. John the
There he
Man
is.
McCann. Busy
There
guy
is
these
the man.
days, too, I got to say.
100% getting the bookings in. Also,
Yeah.
ref duty there. I was getting another booking in at the start of this year there with Crossen and Canary.
John, I put my name on that dotted line. It's just this. It's this guy right over here. Right over here. It just don't want to sign that contract. So what can I say?
Well, you see, Crusher, I'm a big believer in human rights and that every life deserves to live. And that would mean signing a contract to fight. You would be signing your death warrant. And I don't want to call quits too early because we never know when your last day is at this age. It could be today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a young child watching this, me take them off. We never know when Crusher may suffer from some sort of cardiac arrest midstream due to old age and obesity. So, how about you quit your talking and let's talk about the main man, John McCann. So, John, first question: how does it feel to be one half of the greatest tag team in Northern Irish wrestling history?
Unlike some people, I actually think it feels amazing. Like we've had 2-3 teams in the past who've just fizzled out. You know what? Always, every single time we've had it, it's always said it's next level of the best tag team to ever hit NXT and the NRP.
100%. And you know what? I can't wait to do everyone the greatest favor ever, and that is by slapping the ugly, ugly bakes of Dead Sexy tomorrow night.
You know what? Let's wipe the canvas with him.
Let's wipe the canvas with him.
Right. John, and I got to say, you're going to carry the team. And John, I don't know. I think you got something going on. Your audio might be too loud on your speakers because it's like causing a feedback issue.
Let me know if that works.
Like an echoing thing kind of going.
I think that's better.
Yeah, is that better?
Is it?
I think I heard a little bit. I
think it might have improved. But and the reason John is the man McCann is because this is what he said to me when I asked him about getting in the ring with Crusher Cross, and he says, "Crosson, we all know the grappler will take the smoke any day and give you your last match in a heartbeat." Now that is what I'm talking about. Canary, you need to, and if you want to make this next level truly next level, you got to get what he has. This muscular fortitude. You got to be able to actually take the challenge.
Crusher, the thing about being next level is, as it says, being next level. If I wanted to go and face some schmuck from America with bed sores and has to get curs to help him go to the toilet and wipe his ass, I would be going to level 1 again, and I'm not about that life. All right, I'm about kicking the ass of the top guys like myself. So that's why me and John have had so many matches. We are the top guys, and now the tag team division is about to get ruptured with a gigantic earthquake.
So level, you can sit here and talk about leveling up next level, but it would be game over if you met me and say Ben Nelson, or me and anybody for that, or me in a handicap match. But let's get some comments in here, guys. Tina Louise. I've seen Tina commenting before. Howdy, y'all. Good to see her. And she also says this about my schmuck co-host. Canary Kid is the ultimate heel. I may only be a gear maker, but I wish I was as cool as.
Thank you very much, Tina. But I'd just like to say one thing. As you can see, everyone, Crusher, old age, forgets to do things. He just put up the hoodie all thing twice, and it's only now I came up the ultimate heel thing. So you maybe want to, get your technology sorted.
Is he like seeing things? John, you've seen it. It's not Canary. Do you need to borrow my glasses? This has been up the whole time. Holy cow, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen here, 4 eyes. You talk to me like that again, I'll give you 4 black guys. You watch who you're talking to.
Hey.
No offense, Sean.
None taken.
He's taken, when he's thousands of miles away, John, he'll say all this stuff. But you know it and I know it. When we meet in person, he ain't going to say anything like that. Because he'd be running for the door.
Team partner.
He'd be running for the door so fast trying to find you to protect him.
Look,
I don't know. Hey, he's a fine fighter on his own right. I mean, have you seen the guys he's faced?
Well, I see the guys he won't face. And I'm looking at him right here.
Look, listen here, Crusher. All right, here's the thing. You talk about the Canary Kid. we'll talk all this trash from thousands of miles away. Crusher, even if I was as close as I could humanly be to you, it would still be about a 20-meter distance because of that absolute lard man boobs you possess. The kind of things that breastfeed the youth. All right. So I can, even as close as I can
Oh,
be, you probably still can't reach me. All right, because you've got that little shield going there. It's just honestly, it's for your own benefit that you don't step in a ring again. And I saw, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't follow Crusher on any of the socials, I don't expect you to. Who would? But Crusher recently got some equipment. He's starting to work out. He's trying to get in the shape
Yeah.
for this fight that will never happen.
It's not for the fight.
And you know what? I appreciate it,
I,
and it's great. But it's a bit sad to know that he has to get two curs to help him do sit-ups by putting his arms back and forth like they're rowing a boat and churning butter or something.
no, it's not. Listen, I don't need to get in shape for the fight. For you? No, it's getting in shape or going to the gym, as John knows, is something that you need to do for yourself, not for anybody else.
that
So
is true.
yeah, so it's just about, and it's not my first rodeo at the gym. It's just been a few years since I've been there, so it's time to get back into it again. That's all.
There's a difference between a few years and a few generations. I'm pretty sure last time you went to the gym, you had to lift 2 rocks on a stick and bench press it while fighting off a velociraptor or something back in your time, Crusher.
Well, if anybody needs to go to a gym, it's you. And also make sure you eat and drink plenty of protein so you can mass up a little bit here.
Yeah.
What John shedded, you need to gain.
Crusher, you must not be aware of who you're talking to, because I will spin your jaw like it's a fidget spinner. But what I will tell you right now is the Canary Kid is actually 20 pounds up in the last 2 months. And I'm not talking about currency, I'm talking about weight. All right? Because we're talking about currency. The Canary Kid's been up his whole life. All right? But
Remember, kilos is half. So if you're up 20 kilos, you're only up 10 pounds.
yeah, that's why I said 20 pounds.
Yeah,
You
20
old
pounds
schmuck.
20 pounds of rocks in his head, ladies and gentlemen.
You're real funny. Now shut your mouth. Anyway, back to John McCann here.
Yes, back to John McCann.
John, so as you know, we've had you on this show before. You've had many, many big matches in your career, and especially recently, you had a big, big match which Crusher mentioned. We might be watching later. Debuting for the biggest promotion in Europe, over the top wrestling OTT, and in your debut, in front of a sold-out Belfast crowd, your hometown, you wrestled for the OTT European Championship against Charlie Sterling. What was that moment
Hearing
like?
that back does not sound real. Like, to have that just happen, it blows my mind. Like, there's nothing like that.
So
I've
how did
never-
this happen? Like, how did it get booked? How did this all happen?
Well, I have had a lot of interactions with OTT in their training base camp, like a lot of times. Like, I've went down for training sessions for Tuesdays on Tuesdays. Like, I have had a bit of a connection for a few years with them, so it just it turned into a right place, right time kind of thing. So I got there, had my gear. I was lucky enough to have it. And then I got asked, "Do you want to be on the show?" And I got on the show.
So that was pretty cool. Big, huge experience for you. And,
Absolutely.
From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but OTT, they have like some connections here and there that
Yes.
might be able to get you other places. Maybe,
Absolutely.
right?
The biggest place I've wrestled so far, and also the craziest crowd. Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Mhm.
One of these days, I've always said that whether it's you or Canary or Ben, I'm going to see one of you guys making it outside that island. It's just a matter of time.
Absolutely. Yeah, like the craziest fact that someone brought up to me the other day when I walked in the training, they said, I'm the only Northern Irish person that went on the OTT and hasn't been signed yet.
Really?
It's pretty big.
Well, wasn't your nickname used to be John the Kid McCann?
Yeah.
What that used to call you?
Mhm.
So now you've kind of graduated to John the Man McCann, or the Irish Grappler. Is it still the Irish Grappler? Is that still your moniker
Yeah.
you're going with?
So,
Yeah, funny enough, that's what his social media plug says there, Crusher. If you could use your eyes for once, maybe get new glasses or something.
Excuse me, but do you hear some incident noise going on again? I think, is it that feedback issue again? I don't think so, but maybe it was Canary. I don't know. What was that,
I don't know,
Canary?
Crusher. Maybe it's you getting old and hearing the voices in your head. You might want to take your meds. Me, I might have forgot that as well with the dementia kicking in. But anyway, I have a question myself, John. Um,
Yep.
you mentioned there it's the rowdiest crowd you think you've ever performed in front of. What would it
Mm.
compare to the Portuguese crowd?
Um, it's hard to compare. Like they are both that indie fan base, but to compare those, there is no comparison. Like they're their own individual crowds. It's like comparing the dojo, like yourself. They're a family crowd, but they're not the same as everybody else. Like you can have your theater crowds, you can have your town hall crowds, but they're also family crowds. So is the dojo, but it's not the same.
Hmm.
Now,
They're
how was
they're
the
so
fan
different.
reaction to you in this match with OTT? How did that go over with the fans?
It surprised me. Like it was quite surprising to me. I walked out there expecting no one to know me, having a clue who this guy is. He's 18. He's waltzed out. He's gonna get his ass whipped. But I walked out there and I had one of the biggest reactions of that night. And that's saying something with the people that were on that card. People who are miles and miles above me.
Yeah.
And John, of course, that Charlie Sterling match. Um, it's a big match, of course, but based on your history, especially this year, we know you're no stranger to the big matches.
Mhm.
Of course, you went to a time limit draw with Tucker. But
Yeah,
for me, the biggest shocker to me was that you have a victory over an at the time Noah tag team champion in Saxon Huxley. What
yeah.
what what's your feeling about looking back and knowing you had all these big matches in just 1 year?
Well, I look at it this way. I'm 18 and I'm having
Uh
And that is John McCann, ladies and gentlemen. All right,
oh. There, he's
yeah,
back. He's back.
he's back.
I'm back. But I'm 18 and I'm having the biggest matches in this company. Think about 4 years down the line where I'm signed. Think about that. I can get there,
Mhm.
no problem. It's just I have to keep working at it. There's like that's big for me now, but I can go even bigger.
And you
And that's what I aim
understand,
for.
you understand that. Like you know that it's going to take work to make
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
And you're not going to get there just by, you know, half-assing it. So
Absolutely.
I mean, you know that. So it's like if anybody has the drive to get there, you definitely got that.
100%.
So
Hmm.
Now, John, before obviously tomorrow, this is a both interview based question, but also a personal question because I need to know what wavelength you're on going into this match. If God forbid we lose tomorrow, that'll be 10 matches in a row you've lost. Now, do you think that makes you even more motivated for this match, or do you think it's twigging at you a bit?
Um. Well,
well, hang on
the
before
thing
you
that you're
answer that question, John. How many? You're also on a losing streak though, too, right, Ricky? Like I'm not trying to diss you, but
3.
didn't you lose every match in Portugal plus Nate Maddox?
Yep, that's a 3-match losing streak. So
So
I am on the
both of
third.
you, honestly, that's a question for both of
Yeah.
you now. That's kind of a little bit of a losing, and I'm not trying to diss them, but I'm just saying a little bit of a losing tenure here. Is that haunting you two going into this thing?
I'll tell you this. You know what? The thing that twigs me the most is that everybody that I've wrestled has had to have something that is not within the rule book to beat me. Now, Samson Law, what did he do? He had to have his manager. I had him tapped out instantly. Could have won that match, but he had a manager. Think about the other one. What was the other one? We had what's the
Sage.
schmuck's name?
Sage
He's a
Valentine.
cowboy. Jenkins.
Oh, Jenkins,
Jenkins.
yeah.
He had his cowbell. He hit me with a
Uh,
cowbell behind the referee's back, and 1, 2, 3. Had those have not happened, I
I
would have
think we
had
need a
those.
little more cowbell. Foreign objects, all part of the game. I look, John. I give you sympathy, but I don't give you sorrow. How many times I've been hit with chairs, and God knows what else.
and that's why Crusher's in the state he is these days. That's why his head looks like that.
It's funny. I was talking to Keaton about this. I can count. Uh, I haven't. You know, how
Can
many,
you?
I have not been pinned very many times. I think 7, and I've submitted 0. Now, have you ever tapped out? Either one
Nope,
of you? You ever submitted one time?
never.
Once.
So
just once. It might just be once for me, I think.
but yeah,
Once.
see, I've never submitted.
Well,
Not a single one time. I would break, my arm would break before. Giving up is not my vocabulary either, Mr. Canary.
look, one thing I'll say is, Crusher, you know what? You have a nice little resume on paper, but you need to compare the opponents. You were facing a bunch of 12-year-old schmucks who, you just beat up in high school or some stuff. Me and John, as I said, John's had some of the biggest matches that you could have just dreamed of having back in your time. I have
True.
faced some of the best Europe has to offer. My only top out is to, well, he sadly recently retired at such a young age, but to,
Who?
in my opinion, one of Europe's best wrestlers in Abreu. So, um, we've both had really strong and tough opponents, and the people we've lost to are really big names.
Mhm.
Like, I have lost to a lot of big names. Like there was this big local talent. Funny enough, in my fourth ever match, I lost to Pop and Patty. He was a big local talent. He was undefeated for a while, and he gave me my second ever loss. So you have to realize who we were going up against compared to who you were going against. Crusher, you were going against some schmucks. We're going against the top of the game.
Well, you're going
100%.
against indie wrestlers.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, until you make it to the top of the game, then you're going against the top of the game.
I am the game crusher. All right. People aspire to be the Canary, especially in Northern Ireland, in Portugal, in Canada. I'm just naming the countries I've wrestled. I'll name England as well. I've been everywhere there is to be Crusher. Where did you wrestle apart from the bingo halls across wherever
Well,
ugly ass state
yeah,
you
you're
come
right. But remember, back in my day, there wasn't very many indie feds. But I'll tell you this much: the 3 indie feds I wrestled for, I held titles in all 3.
from?
So,
Nice.
in addition to the NWF, so it's like every territory I go into. That's why I'm called Mr. Champion Crusher Cross. If I go to NIPW, I just may win a belt there too.
Look, the only
We
belt
don't
you would
give
win is
participation
my
award.
belt off my treasures whipping your ass. All right, that's all I can say. And you talk about every indie federation that you went to, you gained the title. Yeah, and when you came on this show, you gained the title of the biggest schmuck and my co-host. All right,
Your
John, as you
co-host.
were saying before, you're rudely interrupted by Crusher's
Yes,
ugly
as you were
face.
rudely interrupted, John. What were you saying?
I was saying that we don't give out participation awards, Crosser.
John, I don't think you need to take a page out of Canary's book. If you want to make it in this business, if you want to get there and not get hurt along the way, don't start messing with Crusher. Now, we can have this match, like you said you would give me, and it would be a hell of a good match. I guarantee you that. But I'm not going to go easy on you. So you just better be careful of what you say here.
I
With Crusher
mean,
Crossing.
Crossan, I'm sorry to just rain on your parade, but I feel like I get more fight out of the person across the street from me.
Okay. I'll remember that. And we'll see who gets more fight out of that. But meanwhile, you have other things you need to tend with. You got this tag team match coming up in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So next level might become the end of it if you guys can't get past this team. Who are you going against? Dead Sexy?
We're going against Dead Sexy, yep. A team
Yep.
who's also made out on a losing streak. I'm pretty sure they lost like 2 or 3 of their last matches. So
Well, hopefully he
I-
remembers his boots this time. And
I would just like to say both members of Dead Sexy I've had the displeasure of teaming with, and you know what? Both times I teamed with them, I lost. What do you know? When they're in a tag team, they go on a losing streak. It just shows you a lot of the Canary Kids' losses aren't his fault. But when I teamed up with the second half of the greatest tag team in Northern Irish professional wrestling history, John McCann. John, tell us of our win percentage in our matches. What's the percentage?
So far undefeated in NIPW
Undefeated.
and NXG as a whole.
but how many matches?
Doesn't matter. Maybe 3, maybe 4. I'm not counting right now. But what I can say,
your Canary's out here saying I've got the longest reigning streak for the NH and what do you guys call it? The NGH? I don't know if you call it the NIPW or the NXG. Anyways, the Junior Heavyweight Championship. But then we said, well, how many times did you defend it? 4? 4 defenses in this big long streak?
4 of the best.
Guys,
Four
I
of the
defended my
best.
title 4 times in one taping, let alone, 4
well,
times
once
in a whole
again,
streak.
I bring back the argument of you beating up a bunch of 4th graders. Meanwhile, we're beating up top of the barrel guys. If you look at John McCann's title reign, I just thought that man just like me, brought the belt across waters. John McCann defended his championship in England in his first ever defense. That was after having the best match in NXT history, if you're surely, where he won the title inaugural champ. Go on, John. And then about 2 months later, he defends the belt successfully once again in Portugal against the man who
Right.
tapped me out. So John
That's
McCann,
we're not talking.
unbelievable reign.
Yes,
To
but we're
me,
not talking about
unbelievable
John
reign.
McCann's
I
reign.
I
We're talking
made
about your
people
reign.
I made people relevant when I was champion. First off, Jordan Nelson had never had a championship match. I beat him. I made him look good. I made him relevant. John McCann stepped up. We had another amazing match, one of the best matches this year NIPW ever saw. All right, and me and John McCann, and I got the win. All right, so that was my second ever win against John McCann. Then next thing, bang! I come back from a hiatus in Canada where I held that championship high across Canada. And what did I do? I beat Halfdan, an undefeated Viking, pillager, ravager. I beat him. I made him human. And I was never pinned to lose my championship. If anything, I'm owed my championship back. So Diddy Crooks, you watch out, buddy. Once me and John McCann have our run, once we bring in tag titles, win them ourselves, and whip your ass with them, make Pure Filth cry home because you broke apart like a disgruntled family. All right. Me and John McCann, we are the stars of NIPW. So Crusher, please remember who you're talking to when you refer to me as a bad champion or not enough defenses. All right. You shut your mouth.
The OG CRUSH will say this. Actually, I'm going to slide out a character for a minute here. I'm going to talk about Crooks. I seen that promo he did with Ben. You guys know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was a good promo. I liked it. However, I want to say this. You don't need to this is just constructive criticism for Crooks, but you don't need to resort to F-bombs in the promo like he did. Like, he could have come off just as good instead of using the F-bomb as, another word. And it still would have been as effective. F-bomb,
100%.
you don't need to do an F. It's almost, I get he's trying to get that image, but you can still do it without that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, we're very against any sort of swearing. It's again in our policy. If you read our, we're not contracted, but we do have kind of like a terms and conditions thing here in NIPW. It's in the terms and conditions, no swearing allowed. Apparently, Crooks is just the kind of guy who doesn't listen to that stuff. That's his pure filth mentality, and that's why, as you know, I'll speak my mind no matter what. But one thing I'm not is a rule breaker. I obeyed by the rules in every opportunity I can, and that's why I couldn't stay with pure filth. But Didi, I get it. He's going through a rough time. Sage is, left him.
What I'm saying is look. I'll give you an example. Damn you, Canary! I'm gonna kick your ass. That's fine.
Yeah.
But there's certain words like the F-bomb that you just leave it out. You don't need that, right? You don't need to go that far.
Personally, John, none of us would use it because we know how to articulate. But Didi Crooks was raised in a rough neighborhood where I don't think Crooks ever actually attended a school before, so he doesn't have the high vocab to think of other words like that. So
no, I think the promo itself was great. I mean, it was almost felt like a Monday Night Raw backstage moment. It had that vibe. It was a great promo. I'm just nitpicking. That's all.
See
I'm
if we
doing.
could. By the way, for those who haven't seen the promo, it's on. I don't know if it's on NIPW's Instagram. I don't think it is. But if you go to God Save Crooks on Instagram, you can go watch it quickly and then.
I think it's on Ben's as well.
There you go. Because I just want to talk about it here. I want to analyze something, and it's a recurring thing that I'm picking up on. Don't know if anyone else is. Don't know if you are, John. But at the very end of that, like backstage segment, a certain Stevie Fee walks past, right? And that might just seem normal. It's backstage. People are walking.
Is that
around.
Who that was?
Yeah. But that might seem normal. It's people just walking around. But that's not the first time. Before that, Stevie Fee was caught walking past Crooks again just before him and Sage broke up. When it was before the Nando fight, Stevie and Crooks walked past each other again. And now Stevie accompanied Dylan Didi. Doesn't matter. You all know he's Dylan. But Stevie was accompanied by Didi in Fermentage, the Portuguese bar, to the ring. I'm just putting the puzzle pieces together. Stevie, if you're watching this, you're a good guy. I don't know. Something's not right about this. It's just really suspicious behavior. That's all I'm going to point out.
Well, I'll find out. Me and Keaton have him coming up on Sunday as a guest on Keaton's show. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's not right. I'm just pointing that out. I'm just putting the puzzle pieces together. I'm a big believer in, looking into the finer details, and I'm just seeing a recurring theme. Every time something bad happens to Didi, Stevie's always walking around in the area. I don't know if he's a bad omen. I don't know if he's like a chupacabra who shows his face just before bad things happen. I don't know. But there's something going on there. I don't trust it.
Well, guys, I want to get to our watch along with John. John, we got a couple matches to show, including the OTT match we've been talking about. But before I do, there's something I do want to bring in here. We've had him as a guest. I just want to do a special shout out to Tank.
Oh, yeah.
With EC3 versus Tank was voted on as the match of the year on SOM. Congratulations, Tank. I hope you're out there watching. Well deserved, my friend. This is awesome.
Congratulations, Tank, the Celtic Beast. Had a great match with EC3. We watched it here for the NWA World Championship.
Yep.
So, guy's got a brave future. He's a great guy, honestly.
And
really
it was, he was a lot of other people in there in that voting, and he got it. So they voted it for it. So good job, man. That's awesome. It's good stuff. And you're right, Canary. We've seen the match right here on Forward. So that was cool stuff. All right, let's get to some more cool stuff. Let's get to our watch along and see some more recent footage here of John in action in the ring.
Yeah, of course, as we're moving on, I just want to bring up something. I have received a private message from a viewer who is having an issue with the chat. It's not letting them type, who goes by the name of Sage Valentine. Sage has requested that I ask this, and I think it's the match we're about to watch. Ask John how it felt to be beat by me at the last show. Ha 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 ha. Skull emoji, skull emoji. So,
yeah,
John,
Sage Valentine chiming in. Why can't he talk though? He should be able to talk.
He said there's an issue with his phone, and it's not letting him.
It's not letting him on the phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna add to this, right? Again, another situation where I kicked the guy's ass, and by the end of it, he needed outside help. Another one.
We're about to see that here. And once again, just look at the...
By the way, guys, the production quality here, the announcers, this is a real step up lately at NIW.
Yeah, we talked about this. Me and John talked about it. Me and Ben talked about it, I think. It's crazy. See, so obviously, Crusher, you've only really picked up on an IPW around this year. But see if you look back to our older stuff, which is really hard to find. You just have to go through Keaton stuff. The level that we've came, not just like production, not just in-ring quality, not just like having announcers and stuff, but also where our talent's going. We look like we have John, who, as we just said, wrestled for OTT. He wrestled Saxon Huxley. He wrestled Charlie Sterling for a European Championship. He wrestled in Portugal, defended his title in Portugal. He 29-10 with Tucker. Like, he had great accomplishments this year. You look at Crooks, very similar. He had massive matches. He's won Portuguese championships. He's done it all. Me, I've went to Canada. I've went to Portugal. I've went to England. I've went to obviously NIPW. Like, I've been all over the place as well. Ben and Jordan, the man who should not be named to match. Like, there's been some, honestly, amazing matches, like, and a lot of opportunities being given to our guys. It's humongous, and I think that's us showing that we are quite clearly the biggest and most successful promotion at the minute in Northern Irish professional wrestling, and it's only going to get bigger this year.
Well, you are what you make of it, and the more people that have the confidence to just really make it happen for each of you, the more it's going to happen for all of you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you guys are seeing as it's been happening. And who knows what the future will bring here. So we're just going to have to see what happens. I like the multiple camera shot, though, now. That's nice.
That was, what's so funny? Me and Nathan had a debate about this during the summer, because he just stuck to this kind of camera, this ringside camera.
Yeah.
But I knew he had access to a tripod one up higher up, and I was like, why aren't we using that one too? He's like, that's too difficult to do the editing. I'm not going to do that. And I was like,
yeah, they're hard. It's not that hard though.
I would do it if it took it. I would do it. It would look so much better. And he was like, no. Next thing you know, he started doing it. Just saying, I think I had an influence on that one.
You know, just my video production skills are going to come out now. But just so you know, Premiere Pro, if you use it, has the ability to do what it's called a multi-cam edit, where you put
Yeah.
your camera shots in, and you can literally be like a director, and you can like edit it on the fly. So it's really easy. It's not a difficult thing when you do it right.
I don't know, but we have really good video editors. I think Mitch Baxter, he's like our head producer kind of guy these days. I think he does this stuff. If not, whoever does it, they're doing a great job. It's amazing the way how hard people work on this stuff. Like we have a really good production quality compared to
Mhm.
what we used to have, which used to be no production quality and going off Keaton's videos only. And I remember the shows
Are
where
you
Keaton
trying to
didn't
say
go.
Keaton? Are you trying to say Keaton's video skills are not
No,
good?
but when all of your production is fan cam, it's not.
No, I get it. I get it.
It's just when it's all taken off just like a phone holding it like that, it's the best it could possibly be. If Keaton gets a bad seat that day, you're getting a light in the way, you're not even seeing the match. If
Yeah.
Keaton didn't come to the show, you're not even getting your match. That was how it was. And
Yeah.
now we're in a situation where we get to always see our matches, always get to analyze ourselves, and I think that's why we're getting so much better, because we have such a better way of criticizing ourselves.
And having the announcers, this just gives it the whole feel.
Oh, 100%.
Not that Keaton was bad at announcing, but you
It's
need
good
to
to
have
have
the
a team.
professional style. Back and forth. You have two guys, right? A color and your main
Right.
commentator.
Yeah. The color in the sportscaster is what I
Yeah.
like to call it.
And here's the thing that these announcers have to understand is they're responsible for putting you guys over. So, we knew this in the NWF that our commentators were important because they're going to make us or break us, right? You
Yeah.
guys know
Yeah.
this. Just watch any documentary, they talk about that. So it's like, yeah, that's an important role. Don't take commentating lightly. It's very important in this
No.
business.
I really like both our commentators. They're both really nice guys. Enzo Cruz and Rory Burns. They're really nice guys. When I get to see them, always happy enough to see them. And I'm pretty sure they're attending our next show, because
Yeah, they are,
at
yeah.
the minute we're doing the commentaries recorded after the event, but now we're getting live commentary, I think, coming in, or at least they're coming to this show, which I can't wait to see them again. It'll be great. They're really nice guys, really passionate about what they're learning. I've known Enzo for years now. He's always been a nice guy, and then Roy only got to know him when he started here, and they're both just a really good team, have good chemistry.
Now, are
Happy
they
to have
doing?
them on board.
Maybe you answered this, but are they doing live commentating right now, or are they doing edited commentating?
Edited commentating.
Editing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think we're just kind
You're
of
gonna
getting them
move to
feel of it,
live?
because I don't think they've ever done commentary before. This is their first time doing it anywhere, and what we're doing right now is kind of doing an edited version so that we can help with slip ups.
Sure.
But we're feeling like they're getting the hang of it, so we're just gonna start moving them to live.
Well, that'll be cool when you do the live.
Yeah.
Big sit out spine buster. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it.
John, how'd that feel?
Horrible.
Yeah, I thought it looked like it. It looked brutal. Looked like a
Oh.
tailbone bump.
It was not nice in the slightest.
I heard Ben in training yesterday actually having a debate with Gavin about why the Sky High is such a hard move to take.
It's not.
Gavin said it's just a spine buster, and Ben's like, no, it's the post is awkward. You're gonna land weird with it. So
The
yeah,
post is
and I
awkward, but like you can do it.
oh yeah, it's possible, but it's just weird.
Little lucha libre there.
Yeah. No hands in the either.
Well, no, John's obviously art coach Nathan. He spent about 8 months or so in Mexico learning their craft there with CMLL, the oldest lasting lucha libre federation in Mexico, and then obviously we had Neo over before, a great New Zealand talent, and he's also had so many matches in Mexico with top talent. So John picked up a lot from that. John
Yeah.
really is a big student of the game with it.
Yeah, even like on my own, just sitting there and watching matches, I will sit there for days at a time, just sitting there watching wrestling and then doing it.
Is Sage now? Is he fairly new still? When did he start?
This is his
About a year?
debut, singles debut was December last year, 2023 December.
So just over a year now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and his debut was against me. I beat him. Shock.
He looks rocked. He looks rocked.
Yeah, he's come a long ways himself.
Oh, he's really good. I love Gav. Really nice guy.
Yeah, unlike his persona, he's a very nice guy off camera.
It's very funny,
Doesn't
guys.
and nothing of what he looks as far as
Yeah,
personality.
that's the funny thing about
Ooh,
Sage is that he came on this, and I hope he doesn't mind me talking about him outside of his character. But he came on this. Obviously, him and Crooks, and they did the character based on Keaton's show.
Yeah.
And the first message I got from Crusher afterwards was like, "You know Sage when he was on the show?" I was like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Such a surprisingly nice guy. Like he looks really like." Looks like a scary bloke, but damn, he was like texting me like, "Really, thank you, for coming on the show." He's very polite. He's a polite guy. And fun fact, he's in his 30s.
But you know what
Like,
though?
he started late, but he's got it.
But see, the thing is, Ricky, that goes a long ways in this business. You start like Sage already has it down to thank everybody he deals with, and that kind of stuff is what spreads in room, about somebody. People start learning that about you. That kind of shit spreads. That's a good thing to be, to have. Thank everybody that you deal with in this business.
Ladies and gentlemen, the only reason Sage, me personally, I believe you only thank someone if they. All right, John is no longer with us, but
Yep, no,
you only
I'm fine.
thank someone if they deserve it. Obviously, Crusher clearly didn't deserve it, and he doesn't deserve thanks for anything. But Sage actually came to me after that interview and was like, "Hey, do you know how I get in contact with Keaton? I want to thank him." And I said, "No, I have Crusher." And he goes, "I guess I'll thank Crusher." It wasn't. He didn't want to do it. He just felt like he had to thank someone, but he wanted to thank
Be
Keaton.
careful.
actually.
You start talking about Sage like that, and you might bring the heat with him. I don't think you want him on your ass.
Last time I fought Sage, I beat him. Last time I fought his mentor one-on-one, I beat him too.
Yeah,
So
last
pure
time.
filth don't scare me.
Last time. What about next time?
Next time, it doesn't matter. Crooks is just holding on to that championship, and I already know he prayed, he held his rosary beads, he begged whatever god he believes in, if there is one based on his actions, but he begged, please don't let Canary Kid come for my championship. And you know what? It was a Christmas miracle that Canary Kid went to the tag team division, so he is happier than ever knowing he gets a wee bit longer of his championship, knowing that the Canary Kid's not in his division.
I. And your championship. Let me tell you about your championship. You only defended it 4 times. It doesn't count.
Let me tell you about your championship. You made it out of cardboard, so it doesn't count either. All right. You and your
There was a
3D
time. There was a
printer.
time when we made them out of cardboard and tinfoil. Yeah.
And,
The early days.
and that's how you know. That's how you know Crusher Crossen is a schmuck when he's using literal paper championships.
That's because
You
we
are
had the
a
heart.
literal
That's because
paper
we had the heart to be in this business. No matter what anybody said, and nobody else was doing it at that time. You could find any kid in America, but nobody was doing what we did. So you
didn't
can
have
take
the
that
fucking-
and shovel it right up where the sun
Guys
don't
are a
shine.
bunch of brokies. You're a bunch of brokies. Couldn't afford a real championship. You're poor. All right. Unlike yours, truly.
Let me tell you something. When I showed up at Eddie Sharkey when we did our dual event, the first thing he said when he seen my belt, he's like, "How do you do that? How do you get me one?" This is coming from the legendary Eddie Sharkey. So if he thought the belts were pretty cool, I'd say they're pretty cool.
All right. Whatever you're saying, Crusher.
All right, now we're moving on to OTT.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, was this the debut, John?
This was the debut, yeah. First ever match in OTT, and also the biggest of that night.
And I fixed the orientation, just so you know, obviously.
Great.
When John sent me this, it was 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's fun times for you.
Yeah. Welcome to that.
It was so funny when you put it on, Crusher. I was like, "This looks a lot better quality than the one John showed me." Makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's much better.
So now you're going against champion. Was that what this was? Is this a championship
the
match?
over-the-top wrestling European champion has wrestled everywhere in the globe. One of the best professional wrestlers on the planet, and it was an experience to be able to test myself against someone so good.
So you had to be nervous.
Absolutely. I only had 5 minutes to actually talk to the guy before I tried to take his belt from him. So that in itself was an achievement.
I hear a
And
lot
you
of
know
people
what?
cheering for you in this audience.
Who wouldn't, Crossen?
Well,
wouldn't?
yeah. Well,
Who wouldn't? He's my tag team partner after all. I choose the best tag team partners, and John McCann is the
I'm
greatest
hearing
tag team partner I could
I'm
ever
hearing
go
this
for.
noise. I'm hearing
And
some
that is
noise. It's
why,
feedback. I
and
don't know
that
what
is
it is.
why
You know what? It's some of the
you put,
best feedback you'll ever hear in your life, Crossen. So maybe take
yeah,
a chance to listen.
you put every man in the world in a room. John McCann walks out of that room. He is pound for pound the best in NIPW NXT history. Inaugural junior heavyweight champion for a reason. You know, and that is why we're the best tag team.
It sounds like somebody's just piggybacking on John's back here.
Piggybacking? You could call that, but he has the information to back it up. Have you looked at his resume? It speaks for itself.
I looked at his resume, and I also hear his resume, and he won't face me. So, what resume could there be? Oh, speaking of which, there's a comment here. Let's see. I missed it. Josh Gilmore says this. If wrestling doesn't work out for Canary Kid, he would be a good comedian, at least what do we think? I agree. He's very funny. He talks about, he loves to call me schmucker and everything else. But listen, the fact is, it's all laughs and jokes here with him. Comes seriousness to get in the ring, he does nothing but run and hide. So I think either he'd make a good comedian or he'd make a good hide and seek player, because he's just going to run and hide whenever I find him.
Huh, good one. Shut up. Anyway, Josh Gilmore, on to your comment. I would like to say thank you very much. He's not calling me a joke. He's not calling me just funny. He's calling me the most entertaining man on this podcast and the reason he tunes into this podcast. So I completely agree. But one thing I can assure is if wrestling doesn't work out, then you want to know what? I blame it on Schmucker Crossing. Because I'm wasting too much time listening to him talk. I'll probably have to retire due to migraines. So you know who will be the issue if I don't make it in wrestling.
I mean, my only question is, what are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of the charges I'll receive for murdering an old man.
Well, if there's anybody who's got to be afraid of that, it's me. You're a minor. You shouldn't be afraid. John, should he be afraid?
In my personal experience of seeing your matches, I don't think he should be afraid with his.
Oh, shots fired.
See,
Shots fired indeed, Crossen.
Crusher, you come at one of us, you come at the two of us. We're like a Hydra. You take off one head, the other one's
exactly.
Still there,
Exactly. So as I'm having this match with Canary and I'm beating him badly, and he's at the verge of losing it, what's going to happen? John McCann's going to come running out, and I'm going to have to watch my back. You're right there, Canary.
It's only for me to be there to celebrate with Canary when he wins, because I know he's just going to get back up on top of him.
You know, it's funny. Me and Canary did a what if, and how we'd book it. And Canary's booking was he and I'd be having this match, and then what do you know? Out comes John McCann. I don't know if you heard it, but yeah,
I mean,
his booking was you come in and you grab me off the top rope or whatever and make me foul up. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened because we have each other's back. It's about that life, Crusher. And one more thing is I was willing to give to the needy and the less fortunate in your brokey ass when I decided to put you over in that fancy booking.
Yeah, you
so
did.
I bet you'd be grateful.
You actually, he booked me beating him. Can you believe that?
No, you can't believe that because Canary Kid, as he has said many of times, would never give 100% in a match against Crusher because he does not want to endure criminal charges. Unlike Crusher, who has criminal charges for having the ugliest face on planet Earth.
Now he resorts to name calling. How dare he? How dare he?
Shut your mouth.
He can't fight, so he's going to call me names.
Yep, no problem. But one thing I can't do without any sort of issue is touch my toes and make it up the stairs, alright? And that's what I'm forever going to live by.
Yeah, and hamsters can get in that wheel and keep going round and round and round.
Yeah, and you get on one of those little chair lifts to go up the stairs, yeah, the whole way up. You ever get one of those little pensioner ones? Yeah, that's what you get
But,
on, buddy.
but back to the match. So John,
Well,
I mean, so how's it like? What's going through your mind as you're into this match? Are you thinking like, "Gosh, I don't want to screw it up. I got to make this work." You got to be thinking that way, right?
I've got a lot of thoughts at this moment in time. Like, I'm probably sitting there going, I've seen so many people walk into this place and wrestle in that exact same ring, in that exact same place, and I paid for tickets to see that, and now I'm one of them that's actually wrestling in that ring, in somewhere that I've paid to see before. Like, it's a fever dream. It doesn't feel real. Like, it shouldn't be a thing that happens, but I was in there, and I had my first match there, and there was a lot going through my head, but that's all I could think of. Like,
as you can see, one thing I've noticed a lot in this match, Sean, is you go for a body slam.
yeah.
Is that like a tactic you had in this match? Bigger they are, harder they fall, kind of thing?
Well, bigger they are, harder they fall, but harder they fall on their neck. If I can slam that guy, he's down for the count.
Is that a thing? Like he doesn't get slammed, and that's why he kept avoiding it?
No, he was just a much bigger guy, and I couldn't pick him up.
I see like Santa hats in the crowd. When did this match take place?
Christmas. Like 2 days before Christmas.
Just recently, then.
Mm-hmm.
So this has got to be your highlight for the year, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Finished it with a bang.
There he is, up top.
Bit to kill me here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh,
a frog splash, as Canary would say.
did you just have a stroke? What was that? A frog. What's a frog? Frog?
A frog, as you say.
Frog. It's better than saying a frog.
It's
The things that go ribbon.
it's championship.
Championship.
Hey, you got the slam.
Finally got the slam. Biggest pop in the night.
On your back in a bit.
Crowd's going
you
nuts.
took too long. I think you took too long, John. You haven't realised that he's out there. He's been down for so long.
That a lady ref too?
Yes, that's. I think her name's Yanara or Yawara. She's done a lot of Argyle matches. Yeah, no, she has. She's done a lot of my matches in CAW, I think.
So who did you get to film this? Like somebody in the crowd?
One of the fans who
Oh,
know
fans.
me also does our own videography
Okay.
as well. So he was there and he filmed it and
So it's
sent it
just
to me on
worked
WhatsApp.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, really great guy, George. Nice guy.
I see they're
Absolutely.
also filming it looks like for their own thing. And
Yes.
I see guys around the ring with camera there.
Yeah, they've got
Yeah.
their own 4K footage, which I'm looking forward to when it comes out on OTTOndemand.com and the YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah. That was cool. So you lost the match, but who cares, right?
It's never a loss when you're in one of
Yeah.
the biggest matches of the night.
Yeah.
George. And Crusher, you wouldn't know about really big matches, would you, apart from you holding a championship and beating up a lot of the less fortunate kids in your neighbourhood? You know, rumour has it the Crusher actually used to go around the local homeless shelters and just beat up the closest 8-year-old he could find and call it a championship defence. It was honestly a brutal situation.
No, we did fundraisers called Wrestle for Shelter, but that's to help those. You wouldn't know anything
To help
about
afford
that.
you to have
But
bread in the
no,
morning.
you wouldn't. You know, Canary doesn't know anything about that. Canary, it's all about I. No, the bottom line is, you know, he's afraid. John, you have to do me a favor, please, for me. Get the fear out of this kid so that he will face Crusher in 2025, so we can teach this guy a lesson.
You see, maybe back in the day you would have been able to book Canary when he was new and just kind of not really wise to this game, but like he understands when a match is worth it.
Well, Ben seems to not have a problem with it. You said you don't have a problem with it.
You want to know why? Because Ben Nelson doesn't have big matches. He's only having his first one this weekend, and see once he has that, and see when he has a couple more under his belt, you know what? He won't even think about Schmucker Cross.
And I guarantee you, Tank wouldn't have a problem. Officer Smalls wouldn't have a problem. I could go to any
Well,
of these guys.
look, you can say that about all these people, right? You could say, "Oh, Tank, oh, Officer Smalls." The bottom line
The
is
only
none of them is the
problem,
Canary Kid.
the only problem here is you.
Uh huh. Well, I'll tell you this. You named all those people. None of those people are the Canary Kid. None of those people are at the level of the Canary Kid. I am Northern
Speaking
Irish Wrestling.
of
I
those other
am
kids,
Fast Forward.
speaking of fast forward and these other kids, there's another kid in Europe called Mitch the Kid. Are we ever going to see Mitch the Kid versus Canary Kid?
Well, I can't confirm this. It's a lot more likely than me getting criminal charges for assault of an elderly senior citizen. But me and Mitch the Kid, we were actually talking a couple days ago about discussing details and stuff, and we're looking to get it done before the summer of this year. Well, so I'm looking to get it done again. Stuff needs to be discussed. The details, the the schmucks like yourself,
Because
Crusher, don't need to know.
Mitch said he'd try to tune in. So, he could. Initially we were going to have Mitch come on, John. I asked you and Mitch bowed out. Not that you're second fiddle. Like Canary's second fiddle to me, right?
Oh, he's
I'm the
second
main
fiddle.
host. He's second fiddle, right?
He saw
But-
you second fiddle. He saw you
But
second
no, it's just because I wanted you back on again. It was me that asked you, not Canary. Remember that, John. It was me that asked you on this show.
All right. You know what? A wee bit more inclined to say Crossen's got the match, but you know what? I'm not fully there yet. A wee bit more convincing.
Not fully there
I'm
yet
not-
for what?
For saying that you've got the match,
Which match?
you and Canary.
Oh, me and Canary? You don't think I have what it takes to beat this punk?
Still not yet. I need to see a wee bit more convincing.
Look, all the convincing you need, John, is Crusher. If you can get up, do me the biggest favor. Do 10 push-ups for me. There's
10
room there. We can see.
10 push-ups.
Yeah. I'll wait. We have time. People
Would
will
you
wait.
like me to do one-handed or two?
If you can do one-handed, I would love it. Go ahead.
No, I've done one-handed push-ups.
Yeah.
Look, I don't need to prove
Yeah.
myself to you.
That's the exact reason you want to match against the greatest thing since sliced bread and sliced bird, the Canary Kid. Then you're gonna have to prove it. And all I'm asking you to do is a simple task that I think every schmuck watching this could do, and that's do a couple push-ups. And as we can see, Schmuck Crossen cannot do that because he is not at the level of the OGBIRD and the face of NWF Forward. So how about we ask John some more questions and you can contemplate your life choices, all right? So John, coming from the reason people watch this show, you started wrestling. Well, you had your debut, of course, almost 4 years ago.
It's actually
gonna be
coming up
4
to
years
5 in
next year.
August, I think.
It's
5
4
years?
in August. John,
Is
we
it
had this
4?
debate. We had this
yes, no, you're talking about like shows, yeah.
shows, yes. So, 5 years in wrestling this year, but 4 years in shows coming up this year, this summer.
Mhm.
Has it
Is
fully
it
in?
5 years? Is it 4 years? You got everybody confused here.
It
5
is
years
4 years
training,
on
4 years
shows, 5 years training, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so in a year of training without doing shows.
Because COVID.
But yeah, no, to answer that question, yeah, it's flew in. Like, I think that what makes it actually fly in is the amount of bookings that I get. I've had 58 matches this year. Well, last year. Obviously, it's not the most, but with the amount of them that I've had spaced over each month, like, I've had everything planned out.
Well,
from the
58
start.
matches, and on average, that's almost like once a week.
Yeah, practically. Like, it happens like that. Yeah.
It's
Mhm,
more than
it
once
has
a week,
flew in.
actually.
Well, there's 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah, he's had more than once a week.
So 58 matches,
58.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's had more than once a week.
Yeah.
And that just shows my tag partner this weekend. I have a guy with non-stop experience, non-stop talent. And honestly, if the Lord strike me down right now, I would like to say the greatest NIPW has ever seen. So and that is why we are the greatest tag team NIPW has ever seen, because you got the two very best. All right.
Well, you got
And
one
that
of
is
them.
why. That is what. Oh, thanks for a compliment. But John's good too. But that is why Dead Sexy will be Take Out the Sexy Dead tomorrow night at the Lions Den Finito. All right, my former tag team partner of Bird Pooh, Turd Ferguson, now underneath the moniker of Stinking Steve. And we
Well,
have The schmuck, Ken Schmuckler.
This comment here by Josh is so telling. Canary, stop talking and get in the ring with Crusher. The fans want it.
Yeah, well, here's a life story for you, Josh. What you want and what you get are not the same thing, all right, kids? So you can just take that comment away because you're not getting it. End of story, all right? Go back to complimenting the Canary Kid. Tell me I'm the most entertaining thing you've ever seen because we all know that's true and we all know
tell you
that's
this
the
much.
reason you tune in the NWF Forward.
If he got in the ring with Crusher, it would be the end of the Canary Kid because he would be early retirement. This bird would fly south. And that would be the end of it. So maybe it's probably not a good idea for the Canary Kid to get in the ring with Crusher, as I think about it, because I don't know what I could do. I mean, I know what I can do. I win. That's what I do. It's my nature. And I would beat this kid so bad, I don't know if you'd recognize him. So probably a good thing.
Crossen, just to add a wee bit the fire here. Unfortunately, simmer frames are not allowed in the ring, so no foreign objects, buddy.
What are not allowed in the ring?
A simmer frame. That says here and going, John. Yes, so you ever get that thing you used to mobile around, like the guy from Family Guy, you'll strut around with that. Yeah, it's not allowed in the ring, right? So the simmer frame's not allowed in the ring, so how about you simmer down, pal, alright?
How about this? This is allowed in the ring. That's what would happen to the Canary Kid right there. I love that graphic. It's like a permanent graphic we have here on Forward.
We've spoke about this before, Crusher, and take away a photo because my analyzation. As you know, he's already explained that the only thing he is somewhat okay at is a drop kick. Obviously now he can't even jump 3 centimeters off the floor.
And I will say this: Canary says I'd be proud of when we're out of our characters, he says, I'd be proud of his drop kick. He's really worked hard at it. He's keeping his feet together because he knows that's a big thing with me. If your feet are not clasped when you do a drop kick, go back to the drawing board, right? You don't want to slap a drop kick.
He doesn't do that, so he's like,
yeah, no, I don't do that, Crossen. You say my drop kick's bad?
No. I'm just saying in general. If you don't keep your feet together, you're not doing it right.
It's called a single leg.
Yeah, single leg, nothing. That's just a lazy drop kick is what that is. That's somebody who's not really knows what the hell they're doing with it.
Or it's a single leg.
Single leg
drop kick.
It looks like shit. It's looking like shit drop kick is what that is. And
not if it's done right.
Nah, I've never liked it. They look sloppy.
John knows how to do one where he backflips with it.
Well, now the super kick's different. Like you can do super kicks, flying super kicks, which look like a one-legged drop kick. You guys have never you don't do flying super kicks. I'm not talking about standing super kick like you do. I'm talking about like running and flying with the super kick.
John did it in the match with Sage. We just watched it.
No, I didn't see him running with it.
Sage was in the corner, walking out. John McCann then hit a flying super kick.
Yeah,
if you were watching, if you need those glasses a little bit polished, maybe polish them nice and shiny before I smashed them and, glass shards in your eyelids.
What you need to do is go to Amazon and order a spine. Because until you can get in the ring and have a backbone, I didn't want to hear from you.
Oh, yeah.
So back to John.
That was really unique.
Back to John. So what is next for John McCann? Like, what do you want to do? I know you're doing the tag team, but like, what do you want to do for you? Like, what's the future?
My future? What do I want? Well, the first thing that's on my list is I want those tag team titles. I want them.
Well, yeah, but what tag team titles? I don't think Nate Maddox has made that decision yet.
Well, Crossen, we're looking here in the future, right? What does the John in the future want? John in the future wants tag team titles, so get him some tag team titles. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. I want them.
People better be listening. All right, when the best NWF's ever seen speaks and talks and he wants a tag championship, you get them on a tag championship, all right?
You might want to be careful what you wish for. What if those tag championships come along and Dead Gorgeous end up winning those damn straps?
Dead Gorgeous, you're funny, Crusher. I beat both of them on their own. All right, they're nobodies. They're a bunch of schmucks.
Yeah, you beat both of them on their own when they were starting out.
I would only agree to that match if it's her versus her, and I got to shave Ben's head at the end of it because God forbid.
And then if he beats you, he gets to shave your head.
If in his dreams, if he maybe sleeps and closes his eyes, count sheep in his head. Maybe he can think and dream of the day he could beat the Canary Kid in singles action, because I can confirm there's a Ben Nelson has never and will never defeat the Canary Kid 1-on-1 or 2-on-2.
I think Josh is right. Stop talking and get in the ring. I think I like that. I like that. I'm gonna slogan that scene. I like that one.
Stop talking and get in the ring. Well, last I checked, I'm the one who's full-time wrestler, part-time podcaster, and you're the one who's full-time yapper, part-time podcaster. All right, so don't come at me trying to tell me to get in the ring when I am the ring. All right.
Yeah, you'd be permanently part of the ring. Canary's description of this, John, that drop kick is, you see Crusher jumps up, he misses, and then he puts me in the ground, is the way he thinks that would go.
Well, you're already halfway there, Crusher. You're already paraplegic. You're already old. You're already 3 feet under. I just need to take the other 3 feet and dig you down there and put you down for good, Crusher. It's going to be hard. If you've ever watched Old Yeller or a Marley and Me, it's really hard. It's like putting down an old dog. You're just looking at it. The thing's barely eating. It's like shaking and stuff. It's blind. It's crawling around. It's like barely eating. That'll be the day. I'll tell you that. When I see Crusher Crossing, which isn't too long, getting that state, that's when I'll agree to the match, because then I'll put him down.
I could pull a Canary and make fun of him, like, he's blind. I told him how many times do I tell you? But I'm not going to make fun of the way you talk. I'm not going to make fun of the way you laugh like you do with me. I'm above that. So I'm going to be the gentleman here that I am, and I'm going to say that if he ever has the guts, he knows where to find me.
Crusher saying he's above that. That's the only thing he is above, because I'm pretty sure this man stands at 5'5", maybe add an extra 2 inches of pure schmuck, but that is all he stands at, all right? So you're not above that. You're the one who started this. You're the domino effect. And I think every person listening here on this night can agree that they'd rather hear this amazing, fluent, linguistic, beautiful accent that rings like birds chirping in the trees than hear, hot dogs, burgers. No one wants to hear that, all right? You sound like an old hillbilly from some sort of 90s cartoon, all right? It's awful
when he first came on the show, John, he was so respectful and everybody liked him. They compared him to a young Crusher, and now look what we got.
Well,
so
because I'm a firm believer, all right? A lot of people say respect is earned. I completely disagree. I give everyone respect until they lose it. Crusher, you lost it when you refused to admit that I am the main host of NWF Forward. You refused to admit that I'm the reason people tune into NWF Forward. You refuse to admit that I am NWF Forward, as the shirt says. I'm actually thinking of cutting off this part, just cutting the old man shaped figure out and maybe putting John McCann, Dixie Dave, or Mitch the Kid on that. Someone who really makes this show good, all right? Sure as hell, not Schmuck or Crossen, I can tell you that now.
And I have to agree. Tina Louise says there's nothing wrong sounding like a hillbilly.
There is, because that means every time you speak, I immediately assume that you have certain relations with your cousin, all right? So I don't actually want to hear a hillbilly talk, all right? You bunch of hay bouncers.
Now you're making fun of the hillbilly kid? Boy, you're just on a roll here, champ.
I'll make fun of the hillbilly anything all day long, all right? You can go buckaroo off to somewhere else, because here is where the big boys play, all right? I am the Canary Kid, and the only hillbilly I see here, hillbilly kid, you make him look like the whitest, like the absolute, you make him look Asian or something, all right? Because I sure as hell tell you this, you're the biggest hillbilly I've ever seen. You're a hick.
John, you have your hands full. You have not only have this big tag team match, but I hope you have a leash for this guy.
Leash? I feel like I'm on the Jeremy Kyle show. There's something going on here. You need to sort it.
You got that right. And look, I'm ready to sort it. I'm ready to sort it anywhere, any way, place. You name the place, I'm there. I'll sort it out all right. It's just I got a guy who's just afraid. He's just scared. Ben's right. He's scared.
I would just like to say, Crusher, I'm assuming, do you not know what the Jeremy Kyle show is? Don't know if you have it over there.
We don't have it here, I don't think.
Oh, it got cancelled here as well. It was a UK show. And I forget the one that you have. It's basically where people come on and they,
Dr.
they no, it's not Dr. Phil.
It's like a Jerry Springer?
Jerry Springer, that's what I was thinking. Okay. It's like Jerry Springer, and I think you're right. This is like Jeremy Kyle.
Like a Jerry Springer show.
I'm pretty sure I have some notes here of a test that finds out the Crusher is actually, obviously, as we know, 40% schmuck, but he's also 60% inbred and stinking. All right, That's what Schmucker Crossing is.
Well, actually, it's interesting you bring that up. I just found out on a serious note. I'm not bullshitting you. It turns out that the 5-timer actually has English, Irish, and Dutch in my blood. So I just found this out because my dad's dad, my grandpa, was left on a doorstep. We never knew what he was. Now we do. And so and Darren told me that if I got Dutch and Irish and English, I'm probably a Viking. So the real Viking, Crusher Crossen, will come sailing in to NIPW on one of these days.
That's something I'd like to talk about, right? And I heard, all jokes aside, I heard you mention that on Keaton's podcast that, that has links to Viking. English, I get it. Irish, not really. The Vikings didn't really come to Ireland. We were really
Something with Dutch and
barbarian.
Ireland, Dutch and.
Dutch wasn't Viking either. Dutch, like the Vikings
Oh,
were
this is what
Scandinavia,
this is what
and
Darren.
England,
This is what Darren was telling me.
Scotland, and Wales. They didn't. I don't think they really came to Ireland. I think it was the
Well,
Celtics.
according to
Celts came to
Darren,
us.
according to Darren, I'm just
And
going by what Darren said.
and also, yeah, you know what? If you're English, Irish, and Dutch, we need to come up with a new name. So obviously, Sean is your first name. That's Irish enough. So we'll stick with Sean.
Yeah, but not
Um,
the way you spell it.
And you know what? When I think of England, I only think of one thing. So how about we go like this? Your new name, Sean Van Von Stinken. All right, that's what your new name is. All right. So you just shut your mouth. You shut
And my
your
name
Dutch,
is Sean.
Irish,
It's
English, Hong
it's
Kongese,
not scene. It's
schmuckeries. You
Sean.
just shut
He
your
can-
mouth.
He spells it scene. He should know better.
I spelled the real way. I spelled the Irish way, which is where the name Sean comes from. It is the Irish translation of, funny enough, John's name, John. So how about you don't ever
So
talk
maybe
to me
next
about it again?
level should be John McCann and Crusher Crossen.
Well, no, because that would be John going, as I've said before, a level down. So that would be like inter-leveled, and it would just be really confusing. Meanwhile, me and John are on the next level. It's a very different thing. Also, the meaning of next level is not just being next level, it's where the next generation of wrestling. Crusher, your generation of wrestling, as I've said many times, involves wearing leopard skin as your actual like ring attire and coming out banging a wooden club saying ooga booga. So how about you just shut your mouth about being next level, because the only
Does
thing
he
you are is the
ever
next level is
stop
schmuck.
talking? That's the question here. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going and going and going.
Well,
Zip it.
when you're like me, you're the second greatest thing
Isn't that what
since
Jerry Springer
sliced
used to say?
bread.
Zip it. Yes.
No, that was back during the 1600s. But as I was saying, when you're like me and you have so much great things to say, I have so much amazing wisdom. I'm just trying to pass it on to the people watching. I'm trying to pass it on like a schmuck like you. I'm trying to, redeem you, all right? Rekindle the, greatness that you had a potential to have. Not greatness, or decentness. And you know what? I'm trying my best to do that, but you people don't listen. You see this, he's talking too much. You guys just have so much to learn.
Ben had a hard time getting a word in. And John, I haven't even heard from him.
I feel like a referee here. Like I'm just waiting to start the bell. Word.
All right, you know what? John, you have the floor. Tell us about yourself.
John, special guest ref. I don't know if you can handle that even.
I mean, the star attraction. Might as well be in it.
Get some eyes on your product again, for sure.
Yeah.
He does
Well-
like the sound of his own voice. I gotta give him that.
It's a canary. I'm a canary. I sing on its beauty to the people's ears, to the masses. When I speak, it is like the melody of a siren. It is amazing.
Speaking of Canary Kid, though, I did watch. I don't know how I seen it, but I watched your match with Nate Maddox. I can't remember where I seen it, but I seen it, and I seen what happened with your canary cutter at the end there. I think it was you that was telling me, Canary, I've never messed up the canary cutter. It always goes as planned.
Don't think
Well,
I ever
that
said
one got reversed.
Don't think I ever said that.
Yeah, you did actually.
If you can find the exact moment I said that, then so be it. But I can tell you right now, the Canary Kid never said that. I am not a liar. I'm not as why I'm not lying when I tell you I'm the greatest wrestler Northern Ireland's ever seen. All right, and
Well,
I'm
the
one
greatest
half of the
wrestler from
greatest
Northern
actor.
Ireland screwed up on his finisher, and then his coach ended up pinning him in that squared circle.
And you know what? I was more than happy to let Nate Maddox. He may have pinned me, but It was a
What is it?
misunderstanding.
Because
I was
is it because he's older and he's not next level generation and he's
Oh
too
no,
old too?
I'll tell you this: he's sure as hell not you, Laurie. At least Nate Maddox isn't close to being fossilized. I'm pretty sure you have rocks growing on your kneecaps already. But one thing, if you look back at the match, I dominated that match, and I was misinformed. I thought our match was 2 out of 3 falls to make up for the other 2 matches he dipped. So when I lost that fall, I thought that meant I was 1 fall down. I didn't know
Two
that
out of
meant I
three
lost the match.
falls.
Wasn't clear enough to me, alright. I was misinterpreted. I
Wait,
didn't understand
the
the
guy
rules
who
clearly.
claims that I come from the generation of long begone, 2 out of 3
Uh, uh,
falls. And when
we
was
don't
the last
understand
time we
about
ever had
Jeffrey
that
Paul.
kind of match?
Well, if you actually watch modern wrestling, it's a lot more common of a match these
And
days. It
Canary, you
happens
can
all the
sit there
time.
and mock me and make all these cheap shot comebacks when you can't think of anything to say. But it isn't going to change the fact that you're chicken shit. So I just
Look,
got to say. Now, John, I agree. We got to get back to what our guest is. Canary and I
Yeah,
go back and
about
forth. We
time.
got to have a
guessing
match here sooner or later. But back to our guest
yes,
at hand.
John. Obviously, we spoke about when you first started shows, but to go back to when you first started training, of course, that was 2020, just
Yep.
after the first pandemic. What was
During it?
It was during it. So what were you like wrestling with masks on?
No, not even. So
Or
the way that we
training?
worked sessions were we would legitimately just come down the training, and if the police came around looking to see if anybody was doing anything, was out and about or having any gatherings, we would just hide.
John?
Like,
Do you remember
Your
doing that?
your memory hurts me so much, John. You started training in August 2020. You're thinking of the lockdown. Yes, you trained for all this happened. By the way, Crusher, they did have to go ahead on the ring. I wasn't there yet, but August 2020, there was no the pandemic was happening, but there was no lockdown. You were all allowed outside at that point. It was 2021 and the end of 2020.
yeah, no, I remember it. Yeah, no, we started just before like the biggest
Yeah.
lockdown. Yeah, no, I remember now.
What do you know?
It's
I
been so
wasn't there,
long, and I've been
and I
wrestling for
know.
so long now.
I wasn't there, and even I knew that
It's
that
all
wasn't
them
what
bumps,
happened.
brother. It's all them bumps.
It's all
Them
them
top rope
bums
drop
and
kick bumps.
the top rope drop kicks that I have mastered. Um, but yeah. So what? Anyway, as I was saying, so what was your What was your mindset going into your first ever training session?
The one thing that I always thought about was, oh, damn, it's so cool to be in a ring. Like, I'd never had that experience before, like, actually stepping into a wrestling ring. So every time I hopped into it, like, never remembered the wrestling. I always remembered the feeling of taking a bump and always going, this is a lot of fun. A lot of people hate on this, but it's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
So
And
are your guys' that's another thing I should ask you. Are your ropes cable with do you guys use hose tubing with cableized ropes or do you actually have ropes?
Ropes.
So they're ropes. Have you ever been in a ring that uses the cables with the tube?
Yes.
yeah,
And have you had that? I've never had this, but I've had others tell me that we had a ring like that for a while that had that, and when they'd hit their back into it, they pinch their back when you'd stretch it out. Their back would get pinched when they'd come off of it. You
well,
ever have that?
we have tape around our ropes.
Well, yeah, they're taped too, but the hose itself stretches, and then it can.
Oh, you're talking about the cable tie ones?
Yeah, the cable ones.
I think the cable ones are fine. I go.
I've never
Yeah.
had it yet either, but I'm just saying
No.
other guys had said that would happen. They'd
We'll
go
see.
into the rope backwards, and it would stretch, and then when they'd come off, it would end up pinching their skin,
That's
which
funny.
I've
No,
never
never had
had.
that.
Yeah, I was just
Um,
curious.
and bit of information for everyone watching. John McCann is, of course, at the moment in college, and he is studying a script writing course. So
Yes.
to go on to that, how do you think that falls into your? Do you think that's helped you if you're wrestling recently?
I think so. In terms of like being able to script right, it has because I can structure things a lot more when it comes to like promos and stuff. Obviously, I haven't produced
Are you
anything
talking about script
recently.
writing, like in movie scripting, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 type script writing?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not like specifically that. It's more of like a media course, but that is one of the biggest pieces in it. There is a lot of writing for scripts and stuff. Yeah.
And yeah, how do you think that's helped you if you're wrestling?
Well, it's more in terms of camera. Like I've learned this. This is something new that maybe both of you won't know, but I've looked into the WWE's production a lot more, and maybe it's a lot more difficult to explain. But the way that they have their hard cam, it's quite special. It's quite interesting. with their hard cam, I don't know if you'll notice this, but they will have the closest rope will be like between the back rope. It's easier to show than it is to like actually explain it. So in terms of their camera angles, see if I can flip.
Uh-oh.
This
Oh,
wrestling
there we
ring,
go.
but
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
the way they would have it, they have their top rope would usually come down to in between the two middle ropes. So anytime you're watching wrestling, that's
Oh, they mean they would frame it like that?
oh
Well, there's the rule of thirds. I mean, that's in video production terms, the rule of thirds is you want to always keep the rule of thirds. So you kind of divide your frame up in thirds. So third vertically, third horizontal. You always want to have your focal point on one of the thirds. That's why I told Ricky to bring his camera down a little bit. You don't want to have all that headspace, right? So the rule of thirds is a thing. And I don't know if I would imagine they'd be doing that too, trying to follow that if they have any kind of training in video. Sorry, guys, I just got a job coming.
yeah,
in
but
from
like
Mom.
what it's just kind of made me do was look into the WWE's production a lot more.
And do you think you've learned a lot from doing that?
I've learned a lot more about how they do it, yes, but I've also learned the ways that I like it done. Like if I'm gonna ever start up a promotion, at least I know, right? I prefer it done this way because this is how it looks, and it looks a lot better. But also when it comes to promos, I feel like I've learned different techniques that can help. I just haven't had the chance to use them yet.
So do you think,
Yeah.
what are you guys' opinion on promos as far as scripted versus just talking? How do you feel?
Well, I personally, and I think me and John, we don't disagree, but John has his way of preferring it, and I have my way of preferring it when it comes to the promos. I much more prefer mine just off the cuff. Like I feel more confident just I can go out there, talk, talk, talk. As you know from those who watch this, all jokes aside, I'm really good at talking. And so I'm much more chill off the cuff, like.
Like you would struggle with a script almost, wouldn't you? You're the kind that want to just say it the way it is.
I really don't like scripts. John
Yeah.
has seen me doing like scripted promos
No,
for like pre-recorded,
I
and
can
it's
totally
so hard.
I can totally relate because when I went through video production, one of our courses was reel to reel, where we had to read a teleprompter. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's basically a script, and you get very robotic. It's almost like you have to read it, and then you start looking at it, and it doesn't feel natural, and I don't like it. I would much rather just like Canary, just be myself,
like
But
John
there are other people though who actually do well with this.
has like seen me in training when I try and do the pre-recorded promos. I'll go out there on a show and cut a promo, and I'll get so much compliments from the fans and from like wrestlers being like, "That was a good promo, it's nice little promo, it was good, I like that." And if I'm doing like a scripted one, 10 takes. Like I take so long because I'm like forgot my line. It's so much easier if I just talk. Like I'm like get me to do a pre-record promo and I'll just talk, but don't give me a scripted promo because it's never gonna work.
Yeah.
What do you like, John?
Well, I don't know. It's so 50-50 with me. Like recently with the course that I started doing, like I feel like I've become a lot more confident on camera. I can talk a lot better. I'd say I'm still not there yet, but when it comes to actually reading off a script, I feel like I'm a lot better at that as well. Like even Canaries looked at my stuff while Nathan is in the dojo filming me doing another one of the scripted promos and takes me 10 takes, but I've kind of narrowed it down. Like I feel like I have, even with doing like short films and stuff that we've kind of been putting together for the course.
Now,
I've
there is such a thing as hybrid. I don't have a problem with hybrid. You know what hybrid is with scripts? So
It's
hybrid
not like
is
bullet
well,
points
it's like
kind of.
yeah, bullet points. You basically you'll have your bullet points and your topics just to keep you on track, and then there'll be ad lib, right?
Mm.
So you can kind of do a little of both. I don't have a problem with that, but I do not like reading word for word. That's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I've if I'm going to do a scripted promo as well, I want to write it myself. I don't like when I get handed a script because I can't. Because at least if I'm writing my own script, I'm like, all right, I would say this stuff. But if someone gives me like, say this, this, and this, or if they just go, talk about the show, we want you to say this, we want you to bring up the date, we want you to bring up, and I'm like, oh, now I'm trying to remember all this. And then
Well,
everyone's
kind of
standing
like when
around
you
you
did your
staring
for
with
Forward
lights.
fans. When Forward fans, kind of like when Ricky did his promo and he's reading the letter. I'm sure it was something he wrote for himself.
I wrote
And
that completely myself.
yeah, so that was you're writing your own thing that you're
And
reading. So
of course, behind the scenes for that promo, there was nothing written on that. Obviously, it was just a piece of paper with scribbly lines like that across it, and I just on the spot just talked into that, pretending to talk shit.
well, it figured it had to be written because you were reacting as it was written.
Oh, that was
Or did they
me.
record that after?
That was me. No, I recorded that first. I recorded myself just sitting there like this, going.
Because it was all in timing was perfect for what you said. Though was the weird thing.
I don't know how it worked out so well. I just did random reactions and it ended up working in sync.
Because it just looked to me like you had it written out and like you were just reacting to what you wrote, and then it would,
No,
Yeah.
it was completely like just randomly fell in the sync. Though my voiceover was me watching the video, but I still kind of tamed my like reactions. I just kind of got it.
I was very impressed, guys. I mean, because when you're in video production like I am, and you've gotten a degree, you see this stuff. And when I seen Ricky put that little thing together, I'm like, that's pretty good. Not everybody can do that kind of thing, where he edited a whole little promo. I was just expecting a single camera thing, and he did this whole thing.
It's so funny because I think that promo, I'm very proud of it because it's the most like creative I've got with something, because I struggle to think of creativity for like, because I hate just doing, I will see you Saturday on this show on this date, be there to see me win. I hate that. So I was like, what could I do? And I was like, yeah, this could work. And I was like, finally I came up with something really creative and I did it and stuff. And I honestly think it's my best pre-recorded promo. And it wasn't even for like an event. It was for me coming on a podcast. And I was like, that worked. I think that worked.
It really was surprisingly good. I mean, I just didn't expect somebody with no video skills whatsoever to be able to, come
I don't
up
know
with
how to
that.
record. I really don't know how to record. I'm not good at that at all. Like the only recording experience I have is when the odd time someone will go to me, hey, can you record my match? And I'm like, okay. That's literally it. I hate recording people's matches, by the way. Just off topic, I hate it. My hands get sore. Like I don't care. I don't want to do this. But yeah, anyway, to John, actually about recording matches, John, you've done a camera work for a couple of promotions, like videography.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, after 3 or 4 matches, man, like you get really tired. Like it's quite hard to do. But like
what kind of camera were you doing? Like the fig rig or something, where you're like holding the thing or going around the ring?
I've worked with different rigs before. Like one of them, I used a gimbal and a phone, and then there was one that I just used. I don't know if it was a DSLR or else it was just one of the cameras that they had on hand. They just said, "Here, we'll try this out." Got trying it for a show, and it wasn't too bad, but it's never nice because you're standing there for hours on hours. Just
even especially if you're doing a gimbal or a fig, like the big steering wheel, the fig rig. Those get tiring because your arms are out all the time and you're holding the camera, and it's just after a while your back. You feel this. It's like workout in and of itself. So
it's really bad.
Yeah,
I hate that stuff. I don't get how people do it. I really don't. I mean, if you're getting good money for it, then I get.
Yeah, there is good money in when you start getting in corporate video, there's money there. I mean, companies will pay lots of money for that shit.
If you look at like the WWE ones, like they hold theirs like this, like they have the massive ones,
right? The
and
big
they're holding it like that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's surely brutal.
So from what I know, they switch out their guys every so often during breaks and stuff, and they have like multiple crew members. Like even
you have to.
Trucks that they get, like they're from Scotland, and they just bring them over from Scotland every show.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it through the lens is not a bad thing for a wrestler because you get to see, through the lens,
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's not a bad thing to have under your experience of doing things. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's quite handy.
And the other thing, John, I know you're interested in promoting, and I think you really should look at getting into that someday. I can tell you firsthand, as fun as I had in the ring, and I did, and I love what I did in the ring, but the whole big picture, promoting a whole card, a big show, and then getting the payday of having hundreds of people come to it, there's nothing like that. I mean, that is like a getting jived up like you would never believe. I mean, the feeling you get knowing you pulled something like that off. So I would not. I would chase those dreams too. You know, maybe
Yeah,
someday you'll have your own promotion.
maybe, never know.
No, I think I'll be sick, and I've always said I think John would actually like. John has a good eye for talent. That's one thing I see. John has a really good eye for talent, so I think he'd be really good when it comes to promoting because he just knows people. He's just like, yeah, look, you ever see this guy? And I'm like, no. He's like, oh, look at him. He's just some random guy wrestling in a bar in front of 12 people, and he's putting on indie like 5-star classics, and I'm like, huh? It's just
I
proves it.
remember, promoting's a lot though. It's a lot of work. It's not just setting up the matches. That's booking. That's the booking part of it. That's like what Canary likes to do, right? But the promoting though is that's the legwork. That's if you have a good promoter has everything, all your ducks lined up right, that's what's going to make the event, right?
I mean, I feel like if we went 50-50 and Ricky, Henry, you, if you did if you did the opposite side where I did the promoting of the event and like having a look at talent and who's out there, who's good, who's willing to work, what have we got, finding venues and stuff, and you did the other part, learning about the talent, doing the stories, being able to book the actual event itself. I feel like 50-50, we would make like a really good company. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like we could do a really good thing. It's just a shame that we have a combined age of 35. So
Yep.
at the minute, not likely. But,
Hey, I
you never know.
was 16 years old and promoted. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how old you are. It
You
matters.
promoted 12-year-old cockfighting.
I had 450 fans show up, dude. It doesn't matter how old. It doesn't matter how old you are. I don't want to hear that as an excuse. You can make anything happen if you want to.
You have to look at modern wrestling, Crusher. Like the people you were promoting were like people your age. We don't have enough people our age.
No, I was promoting Luscious Larry. He wasn't my age. He's a big dude.
People here, I don't know how it is in America now, but I know definitely in the UK, I cannot go up to some 30-year-old man like, can I book you on my show? He's going to look and go, some fucking 17-year-old kid trying to book me on a show. What? No. No. So, no, it would have to be a long-term thing. There's a lot of thought that needs to go into it. And it's like a 10-year project for the time being anyway.
I don't know. I think you're selling yourself short a little bit.
I don't know. Trust me, modern wrestling doesn't work like that. Stuff isn't as easy.
Well,
it's very different.
I don't know. I don't think it's different. I think it just matters if you have the will, if you have the desire to do it. You got to have the drive, to be able to want to do it for one.
Also the money.
Yeah, and it takes money, but there's ways to get that. Sponsorships, knocking on doors. I mean, businesses. There's ways to generate money. And now today, you can set up GoFundMe's.
Yeah, but GoFundMe has to be for like really good cause. I can't go GoFundMe. I'm a 17-year-old who wants to put wrestling shows together. I'm like, no.
There's different things that you can. I've seen GoFundMe's for all sorts of things. There was some wrestling organization that did a GoFundMe actually.
Probably for an injured talent though.
No, they raised decent money. They just didn't have. It was just a sympathy thing. Like, look, we're starting out. We don't have anything, and they did a GoFundMe, and they got people to donate.
I'm not really for GoFundMe's as well and stuff like that. I think GoFundMe should be for like someone like dying or needs surgery or something. I think a GoFundMe should be for.
Well, there's lots of different kind of GoFundMe's.
I want to book a guy to wrestle. GoFundMe. Like, no, I mean, I don't know.
Look, if I listened to everybody that said it can't be done, I would have never done what I did. Do you know how many people told me it was never going to work? People like you. I heard that all the time. It went in this year and out that year. Yeah. The next thing you know, we accomplished it. So you got to learn to have confidence in yourself with these kind of things. Trust me on that.
Oh, trust me. I fully believe that if I'm given the position anywhere to book, I would be best booker around. But you have to look at reputation right now and a lot of things. It doesn't work that easy. You don't get it. Does not work that easy.
Yeah.
When you did it, it was about 40 years ago?
Yeah, a much difficult time. Nobody was doing it.
My mother was 8.
Yeah.
40 years ago.
No, I'm saying
So,
it would actually be easier now. The only it would be hard. What would be hard to do today is do it with kids. But the booking part of it is easier today than it ever was.
Oh, booking in general, yes, but for us at this age, no, definitely not. That's crazy. It literally, maybe John, maybe because he's 18, but a 17 wouldn't work
Oh, because it's 1 year difference.
because of, well, minor and adult.
Nah. I
I
don't.
also,
We will have to agree to disagree there, Ricky.
well, I don't know. I just, nowadays when I look outside, there's no pteranodons flying around, so as far as I'm aware, that's not going to happen.
But John, I mean, if you ever had the chance to promote a show, would you be concerned just because you're 18?
well, to be honest, I'd say yes, because I'll tell you what, a lot of the talent in Northern Ireland and Ireland as a whole, they're quite selfish in who they want to work for. It's not even like just their thing as well. It's they have people that they work for that they have a lot of respect for, and when you're trying to break into this business with not a lot of respect, especially in the promoting industry, it is very difficult, especially even younger. Like the younger you are, the more difficult it gets. Like it's quite different in America where you can see like a lot of backyard wrestling that turns into like actual promotions when they work hard enough and they promote their stuff. But because Ireland has a lower popularity, I don't know what you're
Population.
calling.
Well, yeah, but you're not gonna. I'm not suggesting that you go out tomorrow and start promoting, but you need to start promoting with somebody like Nate Maddox who can show you and guide you into doing this kind of thing.
I
That's how
mean,
you start. That's how you get started with it. You got to co-promote is kind of the word. You got to have somebody show you, kind of
I,
guide you.
I think with me and John, though, if there's anyone who is the closest to co-promoting with Nathan, it would probably be me and John. Because we
yeah,
don't book, we're not booking at all, but we're promoting. Like, if he's doing flyers, you can guarantee me and John will be doing it. If
yeah,
he's doing any sort of event that he needs some sort of like promotion for, me and John will be there. If
mm,
he's setting up the ring before a show, me and John will be there. If he's taking it down, me and John will be there. We're like always there. So in the promoting side, we pretty much have the whole experience apart from the fun side of things, like where we not the funds with a D because accent doesn't come out as clear. But we obviously don't understand the money side of things yet. But when it comes to the, getting the hands dirty and all that stuff, we do a lot of that.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's like getting that experience that way. That's you can learn from that.
One thing I'd say is I am actually interested in getting in the agenting. Like I'd like to be able to help people who aren't really that experienced actually get through their match and help structure it and look over it.
Mhm.
I'd like to get in that.
I know with Nathan from time to time in training, he'll get me to, because one thing I always brag about on almost every show, if you put me and everyone else in a room and tell us you have a 5 minute match, plan it, I can guarantee I'll be the first one planned and know my whole match. Because I just get memory like that, and I'm able to come up with a match pretty quick. But with Nathan, he'll always tell me because I'll be done. He'll be like during training matches, he'll be like, "Go agent their match, go help them with their match, go structure their match." For the people who don't, have as much experience, he'll be like, "All right, go sort that match out." And you know, I stand by some of the things I've come up with have been amazing, very simple but very compelling. It's just damn, some of the people just can't do it. Like they can't express it. I stand by one of the best stories I ever told in a ring on paper was with Ken, our opponent tomorrow, Ken Cutler in his third, second ever match, second, and great story. We had a great story on paper, but because of how new he was, and because I hadn't wrestled in about a month because I was in Canada at the time, and I just came back, it wasn't a bad match, but the story wasn't shown enough. There was a lot of stories told, and we got it across, but it could have been a lot better if we had the experience on the side. So, but yeah, basically what I'm getting at is, I think that me and John are quite good at putting matches together. Funny enough, I like to brag. We've had some sick matches, so I, yeah, I feel like John could be a really good agent. to be honest.
Well, having good matches. So here's the thing with booking, though, Canary, too, is, you got to. Let's imagine you have a show, right? And you got all these wrestlers on there and you're booking it. You're deciding how it's going to go. You're going to have all these guys come up and give you their ideas. I think I should do this. I think I should go do that. I think I should have this happen in the match. I think I should. And you got to be able to take all that information and say, okay, good idea. No, 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 no. We'll think about it. And do you have that? Because you're going to get that. You're going to start getting all these suggestions on what you should do.
That's one thing that I think Nathan has taught me, though, through doing those training things. Because so much time someone's got them like, I'm thinking of doing this, and they've only trained like a week, and they're like, I'm gonna try and moonsault. And you're like, no, you're not. That's not happening. Or I'm thinking I'm gonna have this character of like, I'm a motorcyclist, and he's built like 5'8", skinny white boy. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like the times I've had to tell people that's no, and the much times people get pissed at me for telling them no, especially because I'm not big enough yet, but Nathan has asked me to help them. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, there's people book different ways. I know Ray Webby and Pete with Eddie Sharkey, when he was booking, he'd always ask us, like, what do you want to do? What do you guys want to do? And we'd tell him, okay, that's what we think we're going to do. Or, we'd run it by him. If he liked it, yeah, sounds good. If not, he'd tell you that's the shit. Wouldn't bullshit you. So,
yeah.
That's how bookers got to be. Sometimes the ideas are good. Sometimes they're okay. But, sometimes they're not.
Oh no, 100%. It's yeah. I was actually thinking about this the other day, and it's like it'd be such a hard job having to tell someone like, yeah, no, I'm not going to use you anymore, like stuff like that. Such a hard job. I could never do that. Having to look someone and be like, yeah, but using you, we're going to stop doing that. No, you're not our thing. We don't think you have it. Like having to say that, I'm like, nah, I could not do that to someone. That's brutal. Unless I really don't like them. Unless they really give me a reason not to like them or respect them, then I could tell them somewhat. Because again, it'd still be hard, but I'd be able to. But like,
generally, though, when you have that conversation with somebody, Ricky, generally that's not going to be new to them. That like they're almost expecting to hear it because they obviously did something. For you to have to have that conversation, they know they messed up somewhere.
Yeah,
it's not going to be new. It's not going to be new to them.
No, I know.
It's hard. It's hard being your friends, right? You got friendships and stuff, and sometimes you're having these discussions with people that you consider a friend, and that's what makes it hard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, Wrestling 101 again. I guess we kind of sifted out of our characters into an actual discussion.
What? An actual discussion on this?
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
So I want to talk about what's coming up on our next forward before we sign off. Ricky, we talked about this a bit. So I think I got a thing for it here. This is what we got coming up in 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Daryl Becker. He's the head trainer of their junior training program at Primos Premier Wrestling out of Colorado. Going to get an update from Daryl. And I don't know, he said that he's going to see if we may get some of the junior grapplers to come on with us as well. We'll see if we get any of these guys with them, but it'll be him for sure. And this one, Ricky, will be an hour later for you, 11 p.m. your time. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
On Friday. And it'll be the Crusher Canary show at first until Daryl comes on with us once he gets home from his regular job, which will be around 11:30 our time, your time.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Ricky will keep you entertained as we always do.
I will keep you entertained.
But yeah, this would be a fun discussion. I look forward to talking with Daryl again, and he's looking forward to coming on again. He told me, so it's gonna be interesting to see how things are going with their program. So learn all about what's happening. So that's what we got coming up on our next show. So that'll be good. And gosh, do I have a graphic? I do. This is still coming up on next week, everybody, January 9th. I just talked to Dixie Dave the other day. He gave me a call, and he's looking forward to joining again, and we'll be back, me and him, next Thursday for the studio taping 111 out of the dry dock. So we're going over that taping for our Rewind show, and that's what's up on the horizon. And then, of course, Wrestling Revolution with Keaton. I don't have a graphic, but it's going to be Stevie Fee Stevie Fee.
Stevie Fay. Stevie Fay.
Yeah, Canary screwed it up, guys. If you didn't see it,
I
watch
screwed
this
it
show.
up.
He called him
How about we all
Stevie.
go back and
Canary
watch it?
called him Stevie Fay, and I had to correct him on
How
that.
about we
It's
all go
Stevie
back and
Fee.
watch it
It's
and
not
see
Fay.
who
It's Fee.
messed
I had
it
to
up?
correct. John had to
Even-
correct him.
Even
you
just
believe
go
that?
on the Keaton show where Crusher literally admits to messing up Stevie's name. He says, Stevie Fee, I got it right that
I
time.
had
Ben
to-
and Ricky made fun of me for getting it wrong.
I had-
calling
I-
him Fay.
I had to correct him. Can you believe that, John? I don't. I mean,
You know what?
obviously, I'm always perfect, but what can you say?
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy kind of show all over again.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? At this point, it's almost a new day over here in Ireland. We're almost at 12 a.m. I do not have the physical energy in my body to deal with this schmuck.
How
So
can
at
you
this
let him
point-
talk to you like that, John?
And you just called John a
Jesus.
schmuck.
Yes, he just called you a schmuck.
Me a
Jesus.
schmuck. Well,
Unbelievable.
well,
Listen, I have to
there isn't even one.
apologize for my co-host, you guys. I have to apologize for him. Almost a potty mouth, almost. Jesus.
There's only one schmuck here crossing, and you know who that is. It's not me.
It's
definitely not
exactly,
Gary.
exactly. It's the Canary Kid, ladies and gentlemen.
You know,
All
Schmucker,
right.
if you turn on your hearing aid, you would hear he quite clearly said it's not Canary and it's not him, and you still say Canary. So I don't know if the some sort of delusion in your brain is making you think there's two canaries or something, but what we're saying is, or it could be that you aspire to be me and you're just seeing yourself as a little canary in your own right. And that's
No.
all okay. You know,
Could
I
be.
love my fans, especially those with some sort of
He
mental disabilities.
He claims he's going to beat me up. He claims he's going to do all these things if a match ever happens, so he can't do it. Excuse after excuse after excuse. That's all I hear.
Mhm.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. With that, we'll be back. Ricky and I will be back in 2 weeks with Daryl. Looking forward to that. And then also Dixie, Dave, and myself next week on Thursday at our regular time. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we will see you guys on the next time around.
See you later.
Time before it.